and login button. Okay. So to develop that screen, there might be lakhs of lines. So there might be lakhs of lines of program, Java program. Okay. So what they will do is, we don't know their technology, because they develop in their own technology. Okay. So they are going to put all those lakhs of lines of program into jars. Okay. That one we are calling it as API. They are going to provide API to me. Okay. So what I will do, I will look into those jars. I will try to see what are the methods available in those jars. Okay. Let us say I will see login. Yes, login method is there. Okay. So what I will do, I will try to call that login method which is available in that jar. Okay. So immediately it will say, oh yes, login method. You have to provide username. You have to provide password. You have to click on login button. Such kind of mechanism will be available in those jars. That is, those are called APIs. Okay. So what I mean to say is, TIBCO can talk to those APIs. Tomorrow some other new technology will may come in. Okay, they are going to develop their application in their new technology. What they have to do, they have to simply provide the APIs. Yes, TIBCO can connect to that API and it can communicate with those with those applications. Okay. And next, monitoring. Okay. See, the applications are integrating with each other. Okay. At very high level, TIBCO can monitor what are being, whether A is suppose let us say B is not receiving the messages. A is sending the messages, B is not receiving the messages. Okay. TIBCO has a capability as tools like Hawk. TIBCO Hawk is there, one of the tools, monitoring tool. Okay. We have to configure all these applications in the tool so that it will monitor all these applications. Okay. If suppose B is not receiving the messages, it will go and see what happened to B, whether it is down or not. What happened to A, whether it is down or not. Suppose both are up, what is happening in between. Okay. So it is a graphical interpretation. There will be graphical interpretation of monitoring these applications. Okay. And also failed messages. Okay. So let us say A is pushing messages to B, but A is sending to message to B, but B is not receiving messages. So something happened in between. Okay. So message delivery has failed. Message delivery to B has failed. Okay. So we can see where it has failed. What we can re-deliver the message also. Okay. So such kind of mechanism available in TIBCO. Okay. And also ability to add more applications that need to share. Yeah, this is scalability. We can provide scale. We can provide a solution. Whoever wants to plug in, they can plug in. Whoever wants to plug out, they can plug out. Okay.
One question about TIBCO Hawk rules. So that will tell which message or whatever is down, right?
Which application? It will see. I'm saying application. I mean to say servers. When I'm saying application means server. Okay. Let us say B application. Let us say C application.
Okay.
So how B application will listen messages? It has to receive some messages over a server.
Okay.
So whether the server is in stop status, the server is in running status, or whether the server is in pause status, all these things can be monitored.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it right?
So I mean, do they write something like code or something?
Yeah, we can write rules. We can develop rule bases. We can write rules. Okay. So we can TIBCO. There is a tool called TIBCO Hawk. Okay. So what we are going to do is we have developed a TIBCO code. We are going to deploy that code in one server. Okay. Which will take care of that code will take care of receiving the messages from A application and delivering the messages to B application. Okay. Now what I did, I have deployed that code into one of the server. Okay. A is sending messages, but B is not receiving the messages. So something happened with respect to the server. In between. So I'm going to see I'm going to write a rule base in the TIBCO Hawk I'm going to say, whenever the application or the code, TIBCO code, whichever I wrote and whichever I deployed into this server, whenever this TIBCO code is not working properly, please send me an alert.
Okay.
That kind of rule base I can write.
Okay.
Similarly, I can tell you like general examples. Like let us say that that application is capable of pushing the messages 1,000 messages per second. Okay.
Okay.
But the incoming flow rate is very, very high.
Okay.
Okay. So I can write a rule base like whenever it reaches 900 messages per second, please send me a mail. Please send me an alert. Okay.
Okay.
Such kind of rule base I can write. So based on that rule base, I can go to a application. I can tell them, please, this input flow rate is very high. Please, can you please decrease the input flow rate?
Okay.
So such kind of rule bases we can write on the servers.
Okay.
Okay, that is monitoring the servers. By using TIBCO Arc, we can do that monitoring. Okay.
Okay.
And coming to TIBCO architecture. Okay. Main components in TIBCO are TIBCO BW. BW means BusinessWorks. Okay. And TIBCO administrator. Administrator is an UI component where we can deploy. We can deploy. BusinessWorks means where we can develop the code. I'm telling you, right, we are middleware. We are going to receive the messages. We are going to push the messages. In order to do that, we are going to write some code. Okay. That code will be developed in BusinessWorks.
Okay.
TIBCO BusinessWorks. Okay. Next, I am going to, after developing that code, okay, I have to deploy that code. I have to deploy in a real-time environment where real-time application will push. See, when I am developing the code, I may not deal with the real-time application. I will simply see. Let us say one real-time application might need 1,000 messages. It has to process 1,000 messages per second. Okay. So while developing the code, I may not be interested in 1,000 messages per second. At the starting point, how I have developed the code, I will develop the code 1 message per second. Okay.
Okay.
I just developed the code on how to listen 1 message per second or 2 messages per second, how to push 2 messages per second to the end application. Like that, I will develop the code. After developing the code, I have to test that code whether it can handle 1,000 messages per second. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because while developing the code, I may not be able to test for 1,000 messages per second. So what I have to do. I have to simulate a runtime environment, a real-time environment. Okay. So where I can deploy the code, whatever I have developed, I will deploy the code, and there I am going to push 1,000 messages per second. Our real-time application will push 1,000 messages per second, and I will see whether it can handle, the code can handle or not.
Okay.
That is runtime environment. So this deploying the code is through administrator. So I will be deploying the code by using a graphical user interface (UI) that is called TIBCO administrator. Okay.
Okay. So runtime environment TRA is only for testing, right?
No. I will explain. I'll tell you. Okay. TRA is the basic for all these components. And I can say platform like a pillar to a building. Okay. So whenever, let us say I'm talking about BW, where I am going to develop. I am talking about administrator, where I am going to deploy. Okay? But there should be some communication. There will be some internal communication between all the TIBCO components. Okay? That is via TRA, TIBCO Runtime Agent. TRA means TIBCO Runtime Agent, where see, first, actually, TIBCO architecture is like this. The base platform is TRA, TIBCO Runtime Agent. When you install TRA, it will be installing Rendezvous, TIBCO Rendezvous, bus architecture.
Okay.
Okay. So, Rendezvous transport. It's going to install Rendezvous transport. Okay.
Okay.
After installing TIBCO Runtime Agent, we are going to install TIBCO BusinessWorks. Okay. So, where we are going to develop the code, TIBCO code. Okay.
Okay.
So now next we are going to install TIBCO administrator, where we are going to deploy the code. Okay. Now sometimes we might need BW wants to talk to administrator as well. Okay. So in that cases, all this communication is via TRA, TIBCO Runtime Agent. Okay. And also I have deployed a code in TIBCO administrator. Okay. So sometime I want to stop the code. Sometime I want to up the code. So it all use cases depends, right? Okay. So all this stopping the applications, starting the applications will be handled by TRA. Okay. So in administrator I can stop, but when I say stop, backend TRA is going to take care of starting and stopping the applications. Okay. So at engine level, TRA is the base. Starting, stopping, okay, all this stuff, and communicating across these internal tools. All these things will be taken care by TRA because it is having Rendezvous transport. Whenever you install TRA, it is going to install Rendezvous transport. Okay. Basic question it's going to install. Okay. So it is very high level, sir. I have to go in deep. Okay. If I have to. Okay. So how we are going to develop the project is, first of all, we need to design. See, our real-time environment will be always different. See, we can talk about a lot of things here, okay? But when you go to real-time environment, it will be all different. It will be really different, okay? Whatever we are going to discuss here, those may not be helpful in real-time as well. I'm not sure how you are taking this, but I'm really sure. Definitely, it will be different, okay? So I just what I will be concentrating always is, whenever somebody comes to me, I always want to talk in real time. Okay. All these things, whatever I explained so far, might be useful for you, might not be useful for you, but I will make sure that what exactly is going to happen in real time. Okay. See, in real time, a lead comes to you, he will directly tell you, okay, I'm going to send you a mail. This is what you have to develop. Please develop it in 2 days and send me that. That's it he is going to tell you. Okay. He is not going to tell you what is unicast, what is multicast, all this stuff. Okay. So whatever. So whenever somebody comes to you or some developer, okay, and asks you to develop something, first of all, what we need to concentrate on is requirement collection. Okay. So what exactly they are asking, we need to look into, okay? And after looking into that requirements, we need to put lot of questions. Without questions, we cannot develop any code perfectly. I can tell you this one, okay? We have to put questions straight. See, some people might think like, if I put this question, they might think in a different way, okay? That is not the ideal way, mentality. That is not the ideal mentality. A developer should have. Ideal mentality should be put the questions whatever you have, get the answers. People might say this is very simple question. Why don't you understand? Okay, we can say yes. This might be a simple question. I just want to make sure that things should not go wrong. And see, you have developed some code and you have deployed, and it went to production. After going to production, people should not question you did something wrong while developing. Because sometimes very, very simple things also might affect you in a worse way. Okay. So what we need to do is, whenever requirement comes, we have to put lot of questions. We have to understand, we have to analyze the requirement, and then we have to start designing. First thing is requirements collection. Next thing is analysis. Analysis means whether these requirements can be handled or not in TIBCO. Okay. If it cannot be handled in TIBCO, we have to straight away tell them, yes, in TIBCO this cannot be handled. Something like that. We have to provide some analysis. Okay. And also sometimes requirement might be very complex. Sometimes that might need Java programming or some other programming, shell scripting that might need. Okay. So we have to analyze what are all these requirements. What we can do, what we cannot do. Okay. So this analysis we have to provide. Then we have to go to design. Okay. In design phase, Right now, I spoke, I've explained you like request reply scenarios, synchronous scenarios, point-to-point scenarios, queue-based mechanism, publish subscribe mechanism. Okay. So to that requirement, what exactly the design should be? These are all design. Whatever we discussed so far. Okay. Right. Point-to-point, publish subscribe, queue mechanism, synchronous, asynchronous. Okay. So which one is suitable? Let us say a requirement came in, like there is a file which is having 1,000 lines. Each line is a record. You have to insert all these 1,000 records into 2 different tables. That is the requirement. Okay. So immediately, what we have to do? We have to read the file. We have to line by line. We have to get the line. And we have to insert into DB line by line. That's it. That's for the requirement. Okay, at high level. See, so this is point to point. We are not communicating to. We are just communicating to one DB application. We are just reading and inserting into DB. That's it.
Okay.
This is point to point. No way we are communicating with any other application. Okay. And also we are not looking. Are we looking for any response from DB? No. So this is not request reply. Okay. This is only point. Straight away we are reading and we are pushing onto DB. That's it. Point to point. Okay. So like that. So we have to design. We have to think in such a way that which out of these design patterns which I can implement for this requirement. That's what we need to think. That is called design. Okay. And there will be a lot of stuff in design. High level design, low level design, technical design, a lot of stuff will be there. Okay. We will if at all, okay, if we are going to meet again, we will discuss that afterwards. Okay. And this is design. Next, development will come into picture. Next, after developing the code, I am going to bundle that code into an EAR. EAR means Enterprise Application Archive.
Yeah, that I know.
Okay.
I work with that, yeah.
Okay, EAR. That EAR we are going to deploy into administrator. Okay. Once it is deployed, real-time scenarios will come into picture, and we can monitor by using Hawk. Okay. That's it, sir, from my end. Do you have any questions? And may I know what exactly you are looking for?
Can you just go through this slide?
This one, okay. This is design time. I just explained you how to get the requirements, how to design, how to develop, and how to deploy. Okay. This is what at a high level we have to think all this. See, let us why I am saying this is design time environment means we need to think all the see. It's not only developing the code. Okay. Where should I deploy the code? That environment is available or not? Okay. We need to think in that is design time itself. We have to think. Okay, I am going to develop. I am going to design. I am going to develop. I have to deploy. So whether I have availability of servers to deploy, whether I have suppose I am using EMS server. I am going to use this EMS server while developing. Whether that EMS server is available or not. So we have to design. Okay, we have to design in our mind. We have to put in paper or in mails. Okay, that is design time. Okay. When it comes to runtime, how the runtime will be? Okay, like I told you, the platform, underlying platform is TRA. That is bus. That can be called as bus. Okay. Runtime agent. Okay. So in administrator, we are going to deploy. Okay. So what is TIBCO administrator means? This TIBCO administrator is a graphical user interface (GUI), where we can see all this. We can see we can deploy all the codes we develop. Okay. And also there is a mechanism called administration domain. Okay. See, I am going to use EMS server while developing. Okay. So when I deploy the code, what the code will do? It has to read messages from EMS server. It means that EMS server also should be there in that domain, wherever I deployed the code. Okay? Otherwise, let us say EMS server is some other US domain, but I developed a code and deployed in India server.
Okay.
So those two cannot communicate each other. Okay. So what is meant by domain is whatever the code you develop, that wherever you are going to deploy that server, and also what are the servers you are going to use in your code, all those servers should be what I can say in a network. That network is called a domain. Okay. That all that domain can be monitored through TIBCO administrator. Okay. So in TIBCO administrator, we can see what are the EMS servers available, what are the applications someone has deployed. Okay. And also TIBCO. See, I said TIBCO Hawk is going to monitor all this stuff. Okay. Even TIBCO Hawk should be part of this administration domain because it has to monitor these things. Okay. And now see what I mean to say is all the applications whichever you are going to develop is going to be deployed onto administrator. Okay. All the infrastructure that you are going to make use of while developing the application or while deploying the application are going to be part of this domain. Okay. Now, what we are doing is we are collecting all the applications you have developed, all the infrastructure you are going to use, and we are clubbing all those things, and we are telling it as a domain. Okay. That domain can be monitored by using administrator, TIBCO administrator. In TIBCO administrator, you can go and see all the applications deployed, all the EMS server supply available. Okay. And coming to process engine, TIBCO process engines. Okay. See, I have developed a code using BusinessWorks. Okay. I'm going to deploy this code in administrator. Okay. How it's going to run? See, it has to perform. I have developed a code to read a file and insert into a DB. Okay. I have to run that code. Okay. To read the file and insert into DB. See, without running the code, how it's going to perform? It's not going to perform, right? So, how it's going to run is when I deploy the code in TIBCO administrator and I say start. Okay. That code is going to make use of an engine called BW engine, BusinessWorks engine. Okay. So it's going to run on an engine, BW engine, BusinessWorks engine. That can be called as process engine. Okay. So I have developed a code in BW. Okay. And I deployed that code in administrator. Okay. I'm going to run that code. When I ran that code, it's going to underlying, there will be an engine called BusinessWorks engine, which can be called as process. I mean to say there is a little bit difference between process engine and BW engine once again. I just don't want to go to internals right now. Okay. That can be called as BusinessWorks engine where the code is going to run. Okay. Administrator is simply it is an UI. But where the code is going to run is on BW engine. Okay. So administrator is simply like a dashboard, a console. Okay. And where we are going to perform all these activities, running all this is on a BW engine. Okay. And this when you say start, it means that you are saying through console or through dashboard, you are selecting start button. That's it. Administrator is done. When you selected the start button, TRA is going to receive that signal and it's going to send a signal to BW engine saying somebody started this application through admin. Okay. So it's going to send via TRA, it's going to send signal to BW engine. Immediately BW engine will start that code, whatever we deploy. Okay. That's how the architecture will be. So underlying is TRA. The communication between admin, BW engine or EMS or whatever it may be is via TRA. Okay. Administrator is front end console. BW is the original engine where we are going to run the code, stop the code, start the code, whatever it may be. That is the original engine where we are going to do all this stuff. Okay. And coming to adapters, some applications might, suppose let us take SAP application. Okay. Or DB application or database. Sometimes we can directly insert into DB. Sometimes there will be millions of messages we might need to push into DB database. Okay, so we are having a mechanism called adapters. Okay.
Okay.
TIBCO provides an adapter called a active database adapter. By using those adapters, we can make the things very fast. We can insert the messages like anything. Okay. So those adapters, we can develop those adapters by using TIBCO, and we can deploy here in runtime environment.
Okay.
Okay. And similarly, let us say CBEL application. CBEL application, in order to communicate to CBEL, TIBCO is providing an adapter. TIBCO has developed an adapter called CBEL adapter to communicate with CBEL application. Similarly, we are having SAP application. TIBCO has developed an adapter called SAP adapter to communicate with SAP application. Such kind of adapters can also be deployed into runtime environment on a BW engine, and they can be monitored via TIBCO admin.